Harshad Mehta Scam Explained. Harshad Mehta, the big bull and the man who once was the most influential person in the Indian stock market, was born on 29 July 1954 to a textile businessman. Mehta did not show promising performances during his school days and has worked a number of odd jobs during his early career. So how did he go from being an ordinary man to a big bull? And how did he become so influential that he pulled off a scam that brought down the entire stock market? Let's discuss today. Before we dive into the details, smash that like button so that the videos will reach to a broader audience, and also subscribe to our channel to get notifications while we post a new video. Let's get started. Harshad Mehta used the loopholes in the Indian banking and financial system and made a lot of money by doing this. To clearly understand the scam, you need to understand what government bonds are. Government bonds are debt instruments issued by the government. In simple terms, it is a loan taken by government from investors in return for an agreed rate of interest. During the 1990s, it was compulsory for the banks to have a certain percentage of their assets invested in government bonds. Well, this was not a problem for the big banks, but for the small ones, yeah, they suffered. They were not able to maintain the minimum amount for the government bonds. So what can they do to stay in business and meet the government bond requirement? Obviously, they can't buy, so the next option is to borrow, but from whom? Well, the big banks had a lot of extra government bonds. They can lend these for a higher interest rate, right? Yes, that's exactly what happened. Let's explain this scenario with an example that you can relate. You know that you have to keep a minimum amount when you open a bank account, right? Let's say that amount is 1,000 rupees. If the balance goes below 1,000 at the end of the month, then you have to pay a fee to the bank. Let's say that fee is 300 rupees. Now, you don't have 1,000 rupees to deposit in your account, so one of your rich friends says that he will lend you 1,000 rupees, but in return, after 1 week, you have to give him 1,100. You are happy because you don't have to pay 300 rupees fee. Your friend is also happy because he gets 100. Same happened with the banks. The smaller banks borrowed government bonds from larger banks to keep up with the minimum amount. But in case of the banks, the transaction was not direct. It went through a broker. And that's where Harshad Mehta comes in. Let me explain this through an example. Harshad Mehta would approach Bank A, which is a bigger bank, and borrow government bonds from them for 50 crores, with an agreement to return 55 crores in 1 month's time. Then he would approach Bank B, which is a smaller bank, and lend them the bonds for 60 crores. He would ask the banks to issue the check under his name. So now he has 60 crores in his hand and doesn't have to pay Bank A until a month's time. Harshad Mehta would then invest this 60 crores in the stock market, pumping the prices of the stock. But you may be thinking, how will he return 55 crores after 1 month? Well, Harshad Mehta's scam was not about just 2 banks. There were a lot of banks involved. When Harshad needs the money to return, he will then approach Bank C and borrow money from them to return to Bank A. He was able to do it because of his influential contacts, and everyone in the business trusted him. This cycle kept going, and Harshad Mehta was pumping crores and crores into the market. He took the price of ACC from 200 to 9,000 rupees. And when retail investors started to see this optimism in the market, they started investing too. This pumped the stock price even more higher. Harshad Mehta was becoming one of the legends in the stock market because every stock he touched would go up substantially. But he became more greedy. He started creating fake government bond receipts with the help of Bank of Karad and the Metropolitan Cooperative Bank. Everything was going well until a journalist, Sucheta Dalal, exposed the scam on 23 April 1992 in the columns of the Times of India. After the scam was exposed, stock market took a deep dive and lost almost trillion rupees. The magnitude of this scam was said to be 4,000 crores, which is 27,000 crores in today's money. This was one of the biggest scams that India has faced. Banks started to demand their money back, but later realized that it was all fake bonds, and they're not going to get it. Chairman of the Vijaya Bank committed suicide. Further investigations revealed other top brokers and politicians were involved. He was charged with 72 criminal offenses and more than 600 criminal action suits. Although a lot of people were doing this at the time, Harshad Mehta was doing this at a very large scale. Some even believe that he did not commit any fraud, but was exploiting the loopholes of our financial system. What do you think? Post in the comment section below. After the scam was exposed, the Indian financial system saw a complete restructuring. A new committee was formed to overlook Securities and Exchange Board of India. Separate audit system was ordered under the surveillance of RBI. RBI was given more power and their involvement in the financial markets were increased. There's a lesson to be learned in every scam, and it exposes loopholes in our financial system. Indian financial system is still far from perfect, but it has been improving at a higher rate than it was 10 to 20 years ago. So that's all, folks. Those were the short summary of the 1992 securities scam. What do you think about this scam? Is India's financial system still prone to similar scams? Post your opinions in the comment section below. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, as it really motivates us to create new videos. Also, subscribe to our channel to get notifications while we post a new video.